All right, so let's talk about some more substance use trends amongst the elderly. Um, Older adults may be more likely to experience mood disorders, lung and heart problems, and or memory issues due to the natural process of aging. But when you add an external exterior chemical substance to that process, so let's think about that concept. So our people are already may have lung problems, they may have heart problems, they may have memory misuse on their own. When we add an external substance to that process, it worsens, it can magnify those consequences. This is our biggest concern. And so the negative health consequences of substance abuse now are exacerbated, and the effects of some drugs, for example, impaired judgment, coordination, reaction time, this can result in accidents. One little old lady said, she'd had a really bad accident. When they asked her what happened, she said, I don't know what happened. So she couldn't recall what happened. Well, we know for sure that lady shouldn't be driving anymore. But motorcycle or car accidents, vehicle accidents, those kind of things can be a serious problem with our elderly population, because they're not aware of their circumstances, and their reflexes are not what they used to be. And so just like all of us have to have quick reflexes, that may slow them down quite a bit with age. So let's talk about Sally. Here she is. There's Sally. She doesn't look very happy, does she? So here she is at 83. She recently fractured her hip. Now, a fractured hip is a serious issue in the decline of age for a person. She has severe osteoporosis, has a lot of pain. She has high blood pressure, chronic pain, and she has a history of depression. And so she comes into your office, she comes into your program, your treatment center, whatever it is that you're running, and sits down in front of you. My question for you is, how would you start with Sally? What would you do with Sally? She's taking several medications from multiple doctors. And so she's recently added hip surgery into the mix. And so she's cared for by her daughter. Her daughter's trying to get her to move into an assisted living center, and she refuses and says she can live on her own. So she's had this fall. She's in a lot of pain. Now the doctors have prescribed pain medications for her. Where would you start with Sally? What would be your first question? What would be your first approach with Sally, right? Try to build rapport with her, right? Excellent. Very good. What else would you do to try to start working with Sally? You're going to build rapport, right? Okay, tell me about your day, right? What's an average day look like for you? Tell me your story. I love that. What's your life story like? What are your goals? Very good. How's she doing? She needs to trust someone. Now her daughter's involved, right? And so as we think about what we would do and where we would begin, that effective bridge is paramount with an elderly person. And so whatever your age is as a counselor, you have to be able to kind of go into that age bracket with her and just kindly, what kind of things are you working with? And so if our first approach is, hey, listen, what's up with this drug use that you got? Or do you think that the drugs are going to make you fall again? Well, that's going to be a defensive posture for her. So when we're kind and we're working with her at the level where she is, and we start out with, so Sally, I see here that you've fallen. What was that like? I mean, what was it like for you to fall? Now, she's going to buy into that. Yes, empathize with her struggles. That's what we're saying. She's going to buy into that. She's going to be like, well, here's somebody who's listening to me. When we say, look, Sally, what are your biggest struggles? What are you struggling with? Because it might be that she's struggling with some things that no one else knows about and that she hasn't felt comfortable in talking about. So as we build that effective bridge with her and we show her empathy, hopefully that will build trust to the degree that she'll open up and say, look, what's really going on is, I've got too much of this medication. I feel dizzy half the time. I fell down because of blank, blank, blank. Or, what you didn't know was I've been drinking a lot every night. And when I fell down, it was because I had been drinking too much. Yeah, tell me what happened. What's your motivation for being here today? But if we'll listen and not be confrontational with her, we're not We're not trying to get her to tell us everything yet. We just want her to tell us where she is at the moment and what she's dealing with so far. So this can help us a lot, right? So the term that we're going to use throughout the day today is ageism. Ageism is it contributes to the problem and to the silence that older people have. It's when younger people unconsciously assign a different quality of life standard to an older adult. It's when we see the elderly people as invalid and useless and worthless. Grandma's cocktails are the only thing that makes her happy. So get the lady a cocktail, and we'll all be miserable if she doesn't have her drink. What difference does it make? She's not going to be around, or he's not going to be around that much longer. So ageism is somewhat of a critical, condemnatory view of younger people towards older people. And it causes more harm than good, that's for sure. And so what we want to do is try to avoid that. I would just call it a new form of stigma. And so it's the stigma that you're old, you don't have any value to society. If you're going to go out and drink too much and use medications and all these things, why not? It's all you got left. It's the best that you got. And it really takes away the value of this individual as a person. It really kind of takes away their opportunities to grow and to develop. The truth be told, many people in their twilight years come up with some of their best ideas. And so we don't want to rob them of that. Yeah, someone said ageism is hardly new. That's true. Well, it might be new to what we're talking about with our clients, but yeah, it has been around, hasn't it? It's an unspoken but pervasive assumption that it's not worth treating older adults. See, that's what we're getting at, is that why treat them if they're that old and they're just going to go away eventually? Yes, just like the stigma we talk about with the younger generation not wanting to be shamed. So along with the impression that alcohol or substance use problems cannot be successfully treated in older adults is the assumption that the treatment for this population is a waste of healthcare resources. This is where it gets personal, is that, when healthcare professionals are not concerned when they should be. And, when there's not a concern for the welfare and the best that an elderly person can have and be in their life.